Hey there, this is Ashley, your host for the Ready, Set, Depart podcast. Do you want to make some memories and travel with your family? It's not as hard as you think. Let's go! Hello, and welcome to episode 26 of the Ready, Set, Depart podcast. We are so glad you're here. This week, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about tips and tricks for Disneyland for your family. Whether you've been there 100 times or this will be your first trip, you may just learn something new. But we're also going to play a little game with you. Throughout the podcast, you'll hear 10 recordings from rides in Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure. When you hear them, write down which ride it is, and then send me the answers to ready.set.depart@gmail.com. And the first 10 people to get them all right will win an envelope full of our amazing stickers, perfect for your laptop, water bottle, or travel journal. Some of the rides are easy, some are a little trickier, but all of them are super fun rides. So get out your pen or get your phone ready. They're coming soon. But first, let's start out with transportation. We're talking about Disneyland tips and tricks. So the first tip I have is how to remember where Disneyland is and where Disney World is. Disneyland is in Anaheim, California, which is just south of LA. If you look at Disneyland, it has LA in the name, while Disney World is in Orlando, Florida. And if you look at Disney World, it has ORL in the name. Makes sense? Beyond where in the US Disneyland is, which airport should you fly into? Our number one airport to fly into is and will always be Orange County, also called SNA or John Wayne Airport. From the airport to Disneyland is just over 20 minutes, depending on traffic, so it's super close. You can also fly into Long Beach Airport or LBG. It's a small airport, but only about 30 minutes from Disneyland, so if you can find a flight that works for your family, do it. LAX is the big airport in LA that every major airline flies into. It's about 45 minutes from the park, but in actuality, it's closer to 1 hour with traffic. We are not huge fans of LAX, but it is an option. Now, do you need a car when you're in Disneyland? The answer is yes and no, depending on how you travel. You could take a shuttle. Just Google the airport you're flying into and Disneyland shuttle. There's plenty of them. From the airport, or a rideshare or a taxi. All are easy options, especially if you're staying on property and don't plan on leaving. More on where to stay later. We prefer renting a car. It is California and we West Coast people love our cars. We don't stay on property and always seem to forget something or need to go somewhere else while we're there. But here's a travel tip. Paying for parking at the Disneyland Resort is, at the time of this recording, $40 a day for standard parking. You can also get preferred parking for $60 a day. To make things easier when you're parking, and because there is often a line, prepay for your parking online beforehand. It sadly doesn't save you any money, but it does make the transaction faster so you and your family can be having fun faster. I'll put a link in the show notes for the prepaid parking because it is hard to find. If you're planning a Disney trip, this might be a good one to save so you can come back to it while you're packing or planning. All right, here we are. We're to our first ride. So this will be number one on your list. And remember, email that to ready.set.depart@gmail.com. All right, so should you stay on site? I don't think so. Unlike Disney World, that is like a big city in and of itself, Disneyland is close to a lot of hotels and Airbnbs. Staying on property is fun and definitely something to do once in a while, but you'll save a lot by staying at a good neighbor hotel or an Airbnb. We love the Residence Inn on Harbor Boulevard. It's a 7-minute drive to the parks, and there's even a shuttle that costs extra that you can take. We stay in the suite, so we have 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, which is really nice for a tired family at the end of the day. There are also tons of nice hotels across the street from the entrance to Disneyland. They can get a little expensive, but the walkability is great. There are tons of YouTube videos with hotel tours from other creators, so definitely take a look before you go to make sure that the place you're staying is the right one for your family. All right, here is ride number 2. Are you ready? Now let's talk about your first day at Disneyland. Do you rope drop? Do you not? If your kids are up and happy, then do it. The excitement is infectious and fun. If they're still asleep, then plan to stay later. Still fun, still infectious, just different. Now, magic bands. Do you need them? Magic bands are just that, kind of like a watch that can get you into the park, make certain things happen in the park, and then even light up along with the fireworks, as long as they're charged. Ours are never charged. Magic bands are fun, but not as useful in Disneyland as they are in Disney World. So for me, they're fun, but not required. But here's a travel tip. Someone in your group does need to download the Disneyland app. This app houses your ticket. If you prepaid for parking, you can find it there. You can see the wait times for the rides, pay for your food, pay for your merchandise in certain stores, help remind you where your car is, and so much more. The first time you walk into the park on a new ticket, they'll take your picture and they may ask for your ID. The ID thing is new and hasn't happened every time, but be prepared. Everyone who has a ticket will need to get their picture taken, so be ready for that. Okay, are you ready for ride number 3? Now, I want to let you know that I am going to play these all again at the end. So if you miss one, that's okay. You might be able to figure it out at the end. But here's number 3. Are you taking a baby to Disneyland? Here are some tips for you. There are rides you can take baby on. Anything that doesn't have a height restriction is fair game, but they are always loud, and sometimes, like Pirates of the Caribbean, they have a drop that could be a little scary for baby, or honestly for whoever's holding baby. I personally think Small World would be a lovely ride with a baby, or the train. But I've seen babies on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That is very loud and has some jerky movements that would be hard for a little baby. And I've seen them on Pirates, and that is dark and loud. And I've heard the toddlers cry the whole time. So just keep that in mind. There's also a thing called rider switch. That is, you and your partner stand in line with a kid that is too small to go on the ride. Then one person goes on the ride while the other waits with the child, and then the second one goes and you switch, and they can go on the ride. Now, the rules of this change often. I don't even want to put them down here. So go ahead and Google it before your trip, but no, it is an option. All right, are you ready for number 4? This is a good one. Here it is. Are you taking an older kid who's still figuring out this whole potty training thing? Here are my biggest suggestions for that age. 1, don't wait in a line longer than 20 minutes. Your kid is going to hate it, which means you're going to hate it. Just know you may not get to ride as many rides as you wanted, but having fun is more important, right? Just keep watch on the app to see when the ride you're looking for has dipped below that line. And 2, go potty anytime you walk past a potty or before you get in line. You'll have a lot of tours of the potties of Disneyland, but your kid will stay dry and you won't be running. However, the big stores do have underwear for sale, usually with Mickey and Minnie on them, if the need does arise. Here we are, halfway through. This is ride number 5.
On Ariel, wait, the girl with Kid Tribe got all mad and Ursula took Ariel's voice and whoa, this story's getting away from me.
People often wonder what the perfect age is to take kids to Disneyland. Well, I am a huge proponent of taking them whenever you want. I also think about 7 is ideal. They still believe in magic, and the new things are so exciting. It's a great time. And while we're talking about 7-year-olds, I would bring or rent a stroller with any kid under 7. Honestly, my almost teenager would love one if we let him. Little legs get tired and no one wants to carry a bigger kid. Plus, you can store your coat and other things in the bottom. One thing about storing things in your stroller, though, while people taking stuff doesn't happen a lot at Disneyland, it does happen. Have a bag with your personal things like your wallet and money that you can take with you on the rides, but leave the less important things like blankets and water cups in the stroller. Oh, and sometimes cast members will move your stroller to organize the area better, so if you think someone might have stolen the whole thing, just look around a bit. It's probably there. All right, ride number 6, one of my faves, is coming in 3, 2, 1.
Evil curses, says you. Properly warned, you says I. Who knows when that evil curse will strike the greedy beholders of this bewitching treasure.
All right, big kid parents, let's talk a minute. These kids are less awed by the whole thing. They want snacks, and they want to look cool by riding on bigger things. This is the age where you're going to be able to walk more, spend more time in lines, and enjoy each other a little bit more. They don't want to meet characters. They want to eat their weight in churros. Do it. It's fun. Oh, remind them to eat some protein once in a while and drink water. Incredicoaster and Guardians of the Galaxy in DCA are pretty thrilling. Space Mountain or Matterhorn in Disneyland are favorites. But the big roller coasters aren't at Disneyland. These are beginner coasters. The big ones are at Universal or Six Flags, but you can still have fun at Disneyland even with a bigger kid. We are all ready to ride number 7. Do you know which one this one is? I just have one thing to say. If you can mobile order, do it. Mobile ordering is a way to order your food or treats before you get to the restaurant. You can start mobile ordering at 7 a.m. on the same day. So if there's a treat that you really want to try, order it before you even get into the park. You can choose when to pick it up. Once you get to the restaurant within your 15-minute window, you click a button on your app and they let you know when it's ready to pick up. So much better than standing in line for food, too. Ready for number 8? Here you go.
And that explains why I wear pants and Pluto doesn't.
Hope you had a relaxing time, and thanks for riding around the park with me. Now, how do you stop one of these things? I'll just check my trusty manual. Let's see. Guess I'll just press all the buttons and see what happens. Hope you don't have any other plans. Well, hey, picnickers! Told you nothing was gonna go wrong.
Have you heard about Lightning Lane? It's like the old fashioned fast passes where you can basically reserve a time to come back and you don't have to wait in line as long. You can get it for the whole day where you can reserve whichever ride has availability for an extra fee that does change depending on attendance. Or you can get individual Lightning Lanes. If this is the only time you'll ever take your family to Disneyland and you have older kids that will be able to do it the whole day, get multi-pass. It's a great way to ride all the rides. I personally like to use it when the line gets really long and I just really want to ride that ride, like Radiator Springs Racers. It's an amazing ride, so fun, love it. But the line gets really long because everyone else loves it too. So if that's on my list for the day, I might just get an individual lightning lane for it and walk past all the people waiting for 100 minutes or more. All right, we're almost done with our tips and tricks and our game. Here is number 9.
There it is, Wendy. Second star to the right, straight on for more.
Fuel rods are a great thing to have in Disneyland. What are they? They're chargers for your phone. But here's the best part. Once you get a fuel rod, you can exchange it. Now, this is only in Disneyland, nowhere else. But once you get a fuel rod, you can exchange it for a fully charged one for free. But here's a money-saving travel tip for you. Order the fuel rods from Amazon. They're way cheaper than the parks, but they work the same once you get there. And here is our last ride, number 10. Now remember, I'm going to play all of them again, so if you missed any, you might be able to get them at the end.
Others like to come and visit us in person, or both, and tend to find it quite magical, whether it's down a rabbit hole or through the jaws of Monstro the whale. Now I know it may look a little menacing, but don't worry friends, I promise you that we're only being transported to a magical place called Storybookland. And our first story begins.
Here are some interesting facts about Disneyland while you look over your list. There's a big palm tree in Adventureland that's called the Diego palm. It is in fact named after a family who owned that part of the land that Disneyland is built on. When Walt wanted to buy their farm, they asked that the palm never be cut down, and it hasn't been. If you're in Frontierland, you might notice that you can't see the Matterhorn. That's because there are trees planted just right so that you can never see it. That's intentional, to keep each land separate. Oh, and in Adventureland, look for the little man of Disneyland. We have a reel about this whole story. We're on Instagram at ready.set.depart podcast, but you can see his house outside the Indiana Jones ride. There is a big piece of petrified wood on the banks of the rivers of America. Walt got this petrified tree for his wife Lily, but Lily, not loving this gift, told him to put it in Disneyland for everyone else to enjoy. And finally, if you don't like paper straws, bring your own straws because everything you get with your drinks in Disneyland will be paper. Phew, that's a lot of information in one place. I'm going to play each ride recording one more time so you can make sure you have it right. You might want to save this episode now so you can play along again later or test your kids on the drive to the park. Here we go. Here's 1. And here's 2. Number 3. Halfway through at 5.
Ariel, wait the again when King Tribe got all mad and Ursula took Ariel's voice and whoa, this story's getting away from me.
Number 6 coming at you.
Evil curses, says you. Properly warned, he says I. Who knows when that evil curse will strike the greedy beholders of this bewitching treasure.
Here's number 7. And 8.
And that explains why I wear pants and Pluto doesn't.
Hope you had a relaxing time, and thanks for riding around the park with me. Now, how do you stop one of these things? I'll just check my trusty manual. Let's see. Ow! Guess I'll just press all the buttons and see what happens. Hope you don't have any other plans. Well, hey, pickers! Told you nothing was gonna go wrong.
Almost done. 9.
There it is, Wendy. Second star to the right, straight on for one.
And 10.
Others like to come and visit us in person, or both, and tend to find it quite magical, whether it's down a rabbit hole or through the jaws of monstrous whales. Now I know it may look a little menacing, but don't worry friends, I promise you that we're only being transported to a magical place called Storybook Land. And our first story begins.
Remember, send your list to ready.set.depart at gmail.com. And if you're one of the first 10 to get them all right, I'll send you some stickers. I hope you've enjoyed our rapid fire tips and tricks in our game this week. If you've been thinking about taking your kids to Disneyland, do it. It's magical and fun. And as always, let's keep making traveling with your family easier, one trip at a time. See you next time. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to share it with your friends or even leave us a review so others can find it. Follow us on Instagram at ready.set.depart podcast. This is Ashley with Ready, Set, Depart. Remember, traveling with your family and making memories is not as hard as you think. See you next time.